Now let's take a look at another demo about operators. Let's switch back to Visual Studio. In Visual Studio, I have my operators demo, in which I am declaring a couple of variables on the top. The two variables are first value and second value, both of which are integers. First value has a value of 4, second value has a value of 8. Next, I'm printing out the values for first value and second value using console.writeLine. When I say first value in double quotes, this is not the variable itself. This is the text first value followed by a colon. When I have first value by itself without any quotes around it, this will print the actual value of the variable. You can do something similar with second value as well. Next, we increment first value by 1 by putting ++ right behind it. When we print out the value, first value, using console.writeLine, the result of ++ will give you the number 5, which is 4 plus 1. Similarly, the next line shows second value minus minus. This will take the number 8 and subtract 1 from it, leaving you with the number 7. We'll see the results of this program in a few seconds. Let's go through the rest of the file. Next, we have multiplication and division. We can take the values first value and second value and multiply them to get the multiplication result. And next, we can divide them by using the / and get the division result. But one thing you'll notice is I have divide result twice over here. The second time, I'm actually converting that first value to a double. So what does double mean? A double is a double precision floating point value. This means that the number will have decimal points behind it with many values possible. An integer can only store whole numbers. A floating point number can store a lot of decimal point numbers, and a double precision floating point can store even more. So if we convert first value to a double precision floating point, then divide it by second value, the result we'll get will actually be as a double as well. So you will get a decimal point value. Why is that important? It's important because when you divide first value by second value, and they're both integers, the result will still be an integer, and you will lose some precision along with it. Finally, we have add result and subtract result. When you add first value and second value, you get a simple result that's the addition of these two numbers. When you do subtract result, you can subtract first value and second value. In this case, first value minus second value gives me the result of the subtraction. And finally, we have console.read key to wait for user input. So what does this all look like when I run the program? I'm going to scroll back up, and I'll click on the plus sign, or rather the start button on the very top. Let's go ahead and zoom in on it. The green play button can be used to start the program. When I run it, you'll notice that I have a bunch of values written on the screen. So in this case, first value is the number 4, and second value is the number 8. This is what was run when the values were initially initialized. Next, we have the ++ result, where first value is increased by 1 to get the number 5. Next, we have minus minus, which is the number 7, because 8 minus 1 is 7. Let's scroll down a little in the code, and let's take a look at the results side by side. Next, we have the multiplication results, which is 5 times 7. This gives you 35. If I scroll down a little more, you'll notice that 5 divided by 7 gives me 0, because I still have integers in this case. So if you recall, a few minutes ago, we talked about how dividing integers gives you an answer that's also an integer. So 5 divided by 7 is actually 0.714, but you're getting a 0 initially because both numbers are integers. So the way to correct this is I've now taken first value and converted it to a double. So when I convert it to a double, dividing the two numbers gives me 0.714 with many decimal points decimal values right after it. So this gives me more precision. And finally, at the bottom, I have the addition result and the subtraction result of 5 and 7. The 5 plus 7 equals 12, 5 minus 7 is negative 2. So this is the end of our demo for operators.